everybody, and welcome. I'm Amy Wren, the official reluctant Disney adult herself. It's Saturday, which means it's time for another FastCast. Last week, we talked about the 2013 Disney film, Saving Mr. Banks, so today we're going to head back to Walt Disney World and talk about the most important thing, the food and drinks. Now, true FastCast superfans know that we've talked about the food at Walt Disney World in both the two-parter I did with Cora, the reluctant Disney wife, and the first FastCast of 2025 about my solo trip to Walt Disney World back in 2024. But I feel that the food deserves its own episode, so here we are. But before we tuck into the food talk, we should do a subscription check first. Subscribing to The Reluctant Disney Adult is the best way to be sure you don't miss a single one of our FastCasts, our fun shorts, and all of the great videos that are coming soon. If you've already subscribed, we thank you. If not, you know what to do. And also, don't forget to visit the Great Amy Ride, the official Patreon of The Reluctant Disney Adult. Paid members will get a whole lot of cool perks, like exclusive posts about movies and almost all things Disney, backstage passes to see how the videos get made, access to our exclusive Discord, where you get to hang out with me, the reluctant Disney adult, and also Cora, the reluctant Disney wife, and more. Go to patreon.com/thegreatamyride and never miss a thing. So now that we've done the obligatory pre-show, it's time for the fun. Take a seat, get comfortable, and order a drink, why don't you? It's time to talk food at Walt Disney World. Okay, so I figured that we'd first start by talking about the quick service food, which, of course, if you're not familiar with how Walt Disney World is kind of set up with their food, they've got different categories of how the food is organized. At the lowest level, you've got like the little, popcorn stands, ice cream stands. They've got churro carts and like the egg roll stand out in Adventureland. There's other stands around, depending on which parks it is. Like if it's at any of the parks besides Magic Kingdom, they've got carts where they'll sell beer or wine from. And then, of course, Epcot has festival stands, which are kind of not full quick service, but are more like stands with a couple food items, some drinks, maybe a dessert. And then above that, they've got the quick service, which are basically like fast food restaurants. And they'll usually serve like pretty typical, fast food stuff like hamburgers, nachos, pizza, hot dogs. I mean, those kind of things, the usual things that you typically think of when you think of, more substantial food at a theme park rather than, just a quick snack. And then beyond that, there's also lounges, which usually will serve food. It'll be like finger food or it'll be a limited menu, like sandwiches or, like shareables. And they'll also have a pretty extensive alcoholic drink menu. There aren't really too many lounges. There are none that I can think of at the Magic Kingdom, although the Beacon Barrel, I believe, is supposed to serve alcohol and would qualify as a lounge when it opens. But the other parks do have lounges. They're usually associated with the sit-down restaurants. Some of them are first come, first serve. But some of them are like Space 220 is one that definitely, I think, reservations are encouraged. Nomad Lounge at Animal Kingdom is another one. And then, I mean, then at the top of that, there are the sit down restaurants. And we'll get into those more, but I mean, they are what they are, sound like. You typically get reservations to go there. You have big meals, like multiple course meals, which I mean, it can range from, just being an entree at like, the sci-fi diner or something that's not really all that elevated up to a actual Michelin star restaurant in the case of Victoria and Albert's. So there's a wide variety, even amongst in that category, more so than any of the other categories. But again, we'll get into that. Right now, we're going to be talking about quick service food, which people, in my experience, people have some strong opinions about quick service food. Everybody has their favorites, their least favorites. I mean, my favorite is Columbia Harbor House, which is a quick service restaurant in Liberty Square in Magic Kingdom. It serves, fried fish, hush puppies. I believe the hush puppies, they were gone for a while, but they're back and they're still there. If they're not, please correct us about that horrible eventuality. We would like to know about that. But anyway, it's just a nice environment. They've got a second floor. I don't care what any videos on this channel talk about. There is a second floor and it's nice, and don't tell anyone about the second floor because we want it to stay nice. It's just a nice place to have a meal. It's not as busy as, say, Cosmic Rays, which is typically billed as the busiest fast food restaurant in the world, based on the number of people that it serves in a year. I mean, it's got Sunny Eclipse, which is nice, but it's really busy, and I mean, there's nothing really special about the food. Another favorite of mine is at Hollywood Studios is Backlot Express, which again is just your pretty typical hamburgers and French fries type place. I mean, they've got some other options, and I mean that's where you get the Wookiee cookie at, which is basically an oatmeal cream pie. I don't know if that's still how it is, but I remember eating it. It was an oatmeal cream pie with a little Chewbacca bandolier candy piece on it. It's an interesting restaurant. Of course, the quick service restaurants at Epcot have a much wider variety because pretty much every one of the I'm blanking on it, but pretty much every one of the pavilions, I don't know why I'm blanking on that, there at Epcot, the International Showcase, have some form of quick service restaurant. I'm trying to think if there's a single one that doesn't have a quick service restaurant. And like, unless you're talking about the Refreshment Outpost, which is more of a snack stand than a quick service restaurant, yeah, but like you've got the fish and chips stand in the UK. You've got, well, you don't really have a quick service restaurant in Canada. You've got there's a stand right there in Canada, but it's not really quick service in the same way. I mean, of course, you can make the argument the fish and chips place really isn't quick service in like the same way as, say, Cosmic Rays is, or Connections. I think eatery. Cafe is the Starbucks at Epcot. And you've got Leal at France, which is a big quick service place. I think Morocco's got a quick service place. There's a couple, or one or two, maybe just one really that qualifies as quick service. In Japan, of course, Regal Eagle Smokehouse and American Showcase. American Adventure, not American Showcase. Sommerfest at Germany, I believe, is the quick service stand there. There's a pizza window, I think. But I don't know if there's just, a full quick service place in Italy. There is a quick service restaurant in the China Pavilion. There's a bakery. I'm not going to try to pronounce the Norwegian name of it right now because I don't remember it off the top of my head, for one thing. That's one of the few places, I think it's it and Leal in France are the only quick service restaurants in the International Showcase that are open for breakfast. And then there's one, again, I'm blanking on the name, in the Mexico Pavilion out front next to the sit-down restaurant that is out by the lagoon. In Animal Kingdom, you've got Restaurantosaurus for now until that all closes down to be remade with the Tropical Americas change that's coming to Animal Kingdom. The Africa and Asia lands have their own quick service restaurants. You've got the Flame Tree barbecue at Animal Kingdom serves barbecue, and has got the interesting, architecture of the shelters and the build where the picnic tables and stuff are of carnivores eating prey of different types, which is neat. Is a neat thing. That is very well themed given its, Animal Kingdom. And of course there isn't a sit-down restaurant in Pandora, but there is a quick service restaurant. Again, I'm blanking on the name. I've never eaten there, but it's got food that is themed to the area. I don't know why this turned into reading out the names of the places. But like I said, it's quick service. It's that stuff. There's varying qualities. And of course, each of the resorts have their own quick service. Even the nicest resorts have a quick service option. And the value resorts, that's all they have, is basically food courts with different stands you can go to get typical quick service fare. Like I said, there's some very strong opinions. A lot of back and forth people hold on favorites and least favorites, desserts that you can find at different places, the different styles of food. Two big ones that I am aware of. There's the pizza controversy. Some people really stand by the kind of very crust intensive, kind of bubbly crust, puffy crusted pizza, which I kind of like pizza like that. I don't know the last time I've had pizza at especially quick service pizza at Disney World. It's certainly not been the last two times I was there. I don't even know if it was when I was there back in 2010 and 2011. It may have been back when I was still growing up. I don't remember it being anything that I would have been like, oh, I will I will always want to eat that. Um, I think there's debate over the fries. Like, there's a lot of haters of uh, Disney World fries, and quite honestly, I kind of like the Disney World fries. Um, Maybe that's a real hot take. I don't know, but they always seem to work for me. I mean, again, they're not the greatest thing I've ever eaten. And of course, different fries can be served different places, especially like at Disney Springs. You're going to have a completely different experience depending on which restaurants you're going to. But like the standard Disney fries that you get at, say, Cosmic Rays or Casey's Corner, Backlot Express, or, the food courts, I like them. What I like even more are the potato barrels, which is of course the official term for the hash brown, like the little shaped hash brown, like tater tots. Which I don't know if I will get a strike for that at some point. Probably not, because no one listens to these. Not very many people, but we're working on that, aren't we? Tater tots are copyrighted, so Disney does not use that term for those things, like tater tot, like we would call them tater tots. They call them potato barrels because I guess they're kind of barrel shaped. So those are great. Like, I've gotten, like, I really enjoyed the breakfast I got at Pop Century when I was staying there, which had like potato barrels with like sausage gravy and eggs and bacon, maybe sausage too. It was a really nice breakfast. Honestly, if I could get potato barrels instead of fries, I would probably get the potato barrels. Even though I do like the fries. But anyway, that's kind of a bit about quick service. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll be back to talk about, kind of got out of order here, but we're going to talk about the snack stands and places like the confectionery at Magic Kingdom, like the shops and snack stands that don't really fit as quick service necessarily. Like, they either have a limited menu or they're, a small stand that doesn't really have seating attached to it, or they're just literally a cart that is outside along the paths, and you can buy food from it. So yeah, we'll be back with more about that. All right, folks, welcome back to our FastCast on the food and drinks of Walt Disney World. We just talked a bit about quick service, so let's spend some time talking about snack stands, which, snack stands are kind of, there's a lot that kind of falls under that when I'm thinking about snack stands. We're not just talking about, like popcorn carts or like the like ice cream carts, like where they'll sell ice cream bars, not so much ice cream cones. And like the specialty carts, like selling the egg rolls. Well, they're spring rolls, but it's called the egg roll cart, even though they're called spring rolls on the signage, and that's what it would be referred to. And I think there are churro carts at Disney World. Of course, the whole thing, if you have paying attention to churros at Disney World and Disneyland, churros are the churro heads are basically there's no contest. Disneyland is where you get churros. Like, it has to do with a lot of factors. Maybe the humidity of Florida versus California, the size of Walt Disney World, and how churros just kind of aren't as fresh because of the centralized way that they're prepared in a place as big as Disney World versus Disneyland. Um, I've never been to Disneyland, so I don't have an answer. I honestly don't remember the last time I had a churro at Disney World. I'm pretty certain I have had a churro. And again, it wasn't anything that I was particularly like, oh, this is the best food I ever ate. Um, Even for a theme park kind of thing. Uh, I did go to Nomad Lounge, but we'll get there with that. We'll talk about the elevated churros at Nomad Lounge. But back to snack stands. I've made a habit every time I've gone, as far back as I remember when I was making decisions of what food I got. I'm pretty certain I've gotten at least one box of popcorn or one bucket of popcorn, like souvenir bucket. I definitely got a souvenir bucket both times that I've visited in the last couple years. And I think that's going to continue. Not one of the super special souvenir buckets, like the ones you wait in line or have to enter a virtual queue to buy or whatever they do these days. Just one of the generic souvenir buckets. I like the popcorn. I don't remember exactly which company sponsors the popcorn, what brand is used for the popcorn that they pop, but I mean, I like it. It's just a nice theme park thing. Um, I don't think I've ever had anything from the egg roll cart. Come to think of it, I don't know if I've ever had any. Like, I'm thinking what the least or the most unique thing I've bought at a cart in Disney World is, and it's nothing's really coming to mind. I really only from those like carts have bought popcorn or a soda, maybe an ice cream bar. I mean, I didn't buy it necessarily, but I did get one of the ice cream bars that came with, like, they were handing out at the after hours event I went to last year at Magic Kingdom. Which, I mean, those are just Mickey bars. They're basically the same things that you can buy at a like a grocery store. So there's nothing really special about those. Um, But I guess this also counts stuff like the confectionery, which is not really a restaurant in the sense of their seating and you can order like entrees and stuff. I mean, it kind of works because they've got mobile ordering, just like the restaurants. And I mean, but it's like a sweet shop. Um, and I think it's been a sweet shop in some form or other since the park opened there. Right at the corner where Main Street, the square ends in the front of Main Street, and then you go up Main Street towards the palace. And I bought I'm trying to think if it was peanut butter was involved, but it was like this kind of peanut butter cake, not cake. It was like a cookie pie. Like, it was a cookie and it had peanut butter in it and it had M&Ms on it. Because, I mean, a lot of things have M&Ms and other, because M&M Mars sponsors the store. So a lot of Mars candies, M&Ms and the like, are found there. And it was really good. So you've got that kind of stuff. Like, I think the ice cream parlor there by the plaza would count. considering it just serves ice cream. Like Aloha Isle and the other one, the Orange Bird place in Adventureland with the Dole Whips is another example of this. Like basically, it's a permanent snack stand. You can get basically the Dole Whips and like soft drinks and like floats using Dole Whips and soft drinks. I'm pretty certain that that's its menu. And like Mickey pretzels are also at snack stands and stuff like that. Sometimes they will have savory stuff at the snack stands. Again, we're kind of moving away from the carts and we're going past the like confectionery type stores with candy and sweets and like popcorny sweet concoctions. And moving more towards kind of on the border of quick service and that where there's, savory foods. I'm thinking of Sleepy Hollow, which has, like Nutella waffles with berries and other fruit and, like chicken and waffles there in Liberty Square. I'm thinking of, there's a newsstand that they built, which was right in front of where Muppet Vision used to be and like Pizza Rizzo, but now is, closed because that's where they're building Monsters Inc. Goodbye, Muppet Vision. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about food. There's a newsstand. I don't know if it was open when I was there or if it opened like after I visited in 2024. They've got like, they're not completely savory because there's like honey or something sweet that's involved, but it's also got like a spiciness to it and like bacon. They got some kind of churro dish there. So it's kind of a snack stand. Not quite quick service. There's like a slushy stand or something like that over by Test Track. And I think like there's a bunch of other places like Gaston's Tavern and Magic Kingdom kind of fits into this too, where they've got cinnamon rolls and they've got like a biscuit or like a roll and meat sandwich, but they don't have like a full menu. They only have a few things. Gaston's is a little different because it's got seating. It's not like really a full service, quick service restaurant, but it does have seating as opposed to say, which I mean Sleepy Hollow does as well, but as opposed to say a popcorn stand, which is just going to be set up in like the walkways. And Westford Ho, Golden Oak, there in Frontierland are two places. Which of course Golden Oak is where you get the beignets, which are different than the beignets that you get out at Disneyland. They're also different than the beignets you get at Port Orleans, the resort there at Walt Disney World. I've not had the beignets. I was, anytime that I would have been close there, I had just, eaten dinner or I just was not in a place where I could try that. I'm pretty certain they had them when I was there, but I don't know that. It's possible that time has collapsed and I am remembering things that didn't actually exist when I was there. And of course, Magic Kingdom doesn't have this because outside of not quick service, the sit-down restaurants, Magic Kingdom just does not have food. I mean, they have food. They do not have alcoholic drinks for sale. at like stands and kiosks and stuff. But the other three parks definitely do. So like there's a like you walk up and there's a beer cart that will like have a couple options on tap, maybe a couple things in cans or whatever, and soft drinks in like the different pavilions. I'm thinking of two where I did that was not festival related, was festival booths we'll get to. We're going to talk about that as part of segment 3 with lounges and all of that. But like there's the beer stand in the UK. There was one in Norway that I went to. There's a margarita stand in Mexico. There's a wine stand in France. You get the picture. And I mean, not all these stands are solely selling alcoholic beverages. Some of them don't sell alcoholic beverages at all. I availed myself of some of the non-alcoholic options. Walking around doing international showcase there. When I drank around international showcase, even though I didn't drink alcohol in every land because that would have been a bad idea. But yeah, it's all I mean it's all part of the experience. It's all there. Because sometimes you want something a little bit more, you want something to eat, want something to drink, but you don't necessarily want to have a full meal. You don't want to go into like wait in this line that's like a McDonald's, basically like Cosmic Rays or whatever. But yeah, so that's what the snack stands are really good for. Anyway, we're going to take another quick break here, and then we'll be back to talk about lounges and like the festival booths at Epcot. So stick around. Welcome back, everyone, to our FastCast on the food of Walt Disney World. Let's spend some time now talking about lounges and festival booths. So, lounges kind of sit in this zone where you can get meals at lounges. Like, they have full, like, food that you could eat a full meal off of, even though usually their menu is kind of slotted towards, just kind of shareable food or like a simpler menu to just kind of eat on as you're sitting there and having a couple drinks by yourself, for instance, or with friends or family. Maybe you're just killing time until your dinner reservation, or you just want to go. Maybe you're a local and you wanted to go in to just have a drink at, I don't know, Spaceship Earth or something. Just a nice change of pace. Get use out of that annual pass or something. Or you're at Disney Springs and you're just at any of the lounges and bars that they have there, where you don't even need to worry about whether or not you have an annual pass. And honestly, outside of the fact that, I mean, they're Disney World expensive, but if you're there on vacation or what have you, you got the money. It's a good way to spend some time, just kind of sitting in the shade or the air conditioning and maybe enjoying the view out on a lagoon or out like people watching in the park, or just kind of relaxing, kind of getting out of the wild bustle of Disney World for a while and just kind of relaxing. My biggest examples, I'm thinking from my 2 trips that I took in 2023, I my afternoon I spent at Animal Kingdom, I went to the Nomad Lounge for lunch, and it was kind of just after peak time, so I was able to get in the wait list was like 10 minutes or something. It wasn't too bad at all. And I mean, I had lunch. They don't have the full menu that Tiffin's, I think, is the restaurant there next to it. But they did have like a menu with food, and I got a salad, I think, or something like that. I didn't get the churros, I don't believe, because I knew we were going to have a big meal that night at Le Cellier there in the Canada Pavilion in Epcot. My wife and I were going to, and I didn't want to like spoil that necessarily, so I didn't get the churros. I wish I did, because then I could speak with some authority on whether or not the churros at Nomad Lounge are actually worth having. And no, it was nice. We sat, like, Nomad Lounge is there by the bridge that goes between Discovery Island and Pandora. So you're sitting out there on the patio. I mean, I sat on the patio. I didn't sit inside. So you were kind of there, and it was 2023, so they still had the boats that went by with the characters. So every so often, one of those boats would come by, and it was nice. It was pretty peaceful. It wasn't like it was in the shade, and there might have been fans or whatever. So it was a perfectly fine experience, like temperature wise. It was it was kind of a peaceful respite from what was a very frantic trip at times. And that too, it was my experience in 2024. I had a day that I didn't do a whole lot. I think I drove around. This was the day after I did the after hours event at Magic Kingdom, so I didn't get back to my hotel room until like 2 o'clock in the morning, something very similar to that. And so I took it easy the next day. I ended up going to Disney Springs. I think I ate at the Irish restaurant that I'm kind of blanking on its name at this moment there. But before I went there, I had a lot of time to kill. So I just went to Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar and hung out, had a couple drinks, had some chips, and some kind of queso. I don't even know if they have that on the menu anymore. Like, I think they changed their menu not too long after that. But it was nice. It was just a light kind of snack, just kind of killing time before my meal. And no, they're a good time. Sometimes they can be used as ways to get, food at some of the nicer restaurants without having to, get the reservations that are sometimes hard to get the times you want, especially if you don't get it like 60 days out or whatever. I didn't really experience it in that way. And then, of course, I kind of wish maybe I had made time to go to the 220 lounge, which is like the one lounge that like expressly you have to get reservations for, because I mean, why? Of course you do. That's the one with the neat space elevator, and it's like you're in space. But yeah, I highly recommend the lounge experience. I don't have a whole lot more to say about that because, again, I don't have the breadth of experience I do with, say, quick service restaurants or even sit-down restaurants. But the other part of this segment that I kind of threw into it. They're really more like snack stands or maybe quick service restaurants than lounges. But the festival booths at Epcot, and I just kind of threw them in here because they're not really quick service, but they're definitely not sit down. But they do kind of have more of a limited food and drink menu that kind of follows a similar pattern through each of the booths, but like they'll have a few entrees, like 2 or 3 entrees that you can order. They'll have a dessert typically, and then they'll have some non-alcoholic drinks and some alcoholic drinks that usually are themed to either the part of the world or whatever the theme of the booth is, because there's booths that are up in the more of the, well, it would have been Future World, but now it's like World Celebration, World Discovery, World Nature areas that will have their own booths there, but then also the countries have their own booths. And like the Food and Wine Festival, I think particularly, but maybe the Holiday Festival as well, have booths that are from different countries beyond just the countries that are on the showcase. I didn't eat any of the food. I don't think I was there for both times. The Garden Festival, the Flower and Garden Festival, which each of the festivals has food booths. Even not just the Food and Wine Festival, but each festival, and they typically will have food that's kind of themed to the festival theme. And I didn't get any of the food because it just didn't work out, because, I mean, I was on the Disney dining plan, so I was eating a bunch of rich meals and didn't really have the wherewithal to spend additional money and additional, stomach space for like trying that food. I wish I had in some cases, because there was some good food, but I wasn't like really feeling it, especially walking around in the heat of the sun. It's not super conducive towards having a strong appetite, typically, I've found. But I did get some of the drinks, which was always nice. And again, it's nice to just kind of walk and take your time and try things out at those booths. And I mean, that's what they're there for. And I highly recommend it. So we're going to take another quick break. It's going to be the final break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the sit-down restaurants and, honestly, the wide variety you can find. It's the widest variety of any of these segments that we've talked about. So stick around. We'll be right back. Okay, folks, welcome back to our FastCast on the food of Walt Disney World. So we were just talking about lounges and the festival stands at Epcot, and now we're going to talk about sit-down restaurants, which of course are the highest end restaurants. You can find some at each of the 4 parks, and all of the deluxe resorts, a whole bunch, of course, at Disney Springs. The moderate restaurants, there's some at the moderates. Riverside at Port Orleans, Caribbean Beach, and I believe Coronado have sit-down restaurants. I mean, I know Caribbean Beach does because I've eaten there at Sebastian's. But obviously, the value resorts do not have sit-down restaurants. And the deluxe resorts will have multiple sit-down restaurants, typically. And again, there's a wide variety of sit-down restaurants because there's stuff like Beaches and Cream, which I would qualify Beaches and Cream as a sit-down restaurant, but it's basically kind of like an ice cream shop. Like it's got hamburgers and sandwiches and stuff like that. But like it's primarily also got milkshakes and ice cream. It's got the kitchen sink. That is a sit-down restaurant. Things like 50 Sci-Fi Diner is a sit-down restaurant. The Woody's Barbecue restaurant at Toy Story Land. These are sit-down restaurants that are more family-oriented, that aren't like top-level restaurant experiences. But you've got like the California Grill at the top of the Contemporary. You've got stuff like Narcoossee's at Grand Floridian and Le Cellier at Epcot, just off the top of my head. And of course, there's the whole category of sit-down restaurants that Disney is known for, character meals, and some of those are like buffets, like Crystal Palace there at Magic Kingdom is character meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, around Winnie the Pooh and his friends like Tigger and Eeyore and Piglet. I don't know if any of the other friends ever really show up. Those are the 4 that I remember showing up and walking around when Cora and I ate there. Garden Grill at Epcot, which of course has the revolving restaurant where you can, for a part of your meal, get to look down and see into Living with the Land. Like that's Farmer Mickey and Chip and Dale and Pluto there. Also, Epcot's got Akershus. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. If I'm saying it incorrectly, please correct me in the comments. Which weirdly, I don't think Anna and Elsa ever show up. It's in Norway, like they are all over that pavilion, which is weird because, Arendelle is not Norway. It's a country based on Norway. It's fake, though. But whatever. So Anna and Elsa, if you watched my Fantasyland Princess Power Rankings video, you would know that Anna and Elsa are not Disney princesses. They don't count as Disney princesses in the whole thing. They also don't show up at Akershus, I do not believe. It's other princesses who show up. It's the big kind of princess character dining experience where you get multiple princesses that aren't just, walking through necessarily at Cinderella's palace. Or castle in Magic Kingdom. I think they may just walk through, like there's not really meet and greet type photo stuff in Akershus as well. I don't know about that. But like character dining is a big thing. And it's its own category. Again, sometimes it's you order from a menu, sometimes it's buffet. There's a fixed menu. Family style. There's multiple ways that the restaurants are organized. And again, the family restaurants, some of the character buffets, some of the buffets that aren't character meals, are kind of at the lowest end of the sit-down restaurants. You've got the Hoop-de-Doo musical review, which it's in its own category. It's the only dinner show, I believe, that Walt Disney World still has. Which that's at Fort Wilderness. And then at the highest end of the sit-down restaurants, of course, they've got there's a very high-end, expensive, even for Disney, expensive Japanese restaurant that I'm blanking on its name. I don't want to confuse it with the other sit-down restaurant that's right there that isn't to that level. But of course, the highest end of highest end restaurants, at least in Disney World proper, is Victoria and Albert's, which is a Michelin star restaurant. And that's a restaurant that has a dress code. I mean, there are other restaurants, like the high-end Japanese restaurant has a dress code. The high-end French restaurant, Monsieur Paul, at the France Pavilion, I believe, is the high-end French restaurant. But Victoria's and Albert's, I believe, takes it even a step further in terms of kind of being the fine dining experience. Like they'd have a menu that you can order from, I believe, but they've also got, like the chef sets your menu type meals. And they're one of those places too. They're the high end in the sense that they have the type of meal that you can reserve and have where you sit at the table in the kitchen and the chef is there preparing your meal and talking with you and all of that kind of experience. Of course, I've never eaten at Victoria and Albert's. That has been too expensive. I've been to several of the sit-down restaurants at Disney Springs, Beaches and Cream. Cora and I ate there. We ate at Sebastian's the last night on our trip, which was good. Surprisingly, given it's got a fairly mediocre reputation. It's got a little better reputation now. I've eaten at some of the sit-down restaurants in Epcot at various times. I ate at Garden Grill this last trip, and we ate at Le Cellier. Had a great meal. That steakhouse there. I've also eaten at the German buffet in the German Pavilion before, but that was a long time ago. And the sit-down restaurants, if you're like a high-end foodie, I don't know, maybe Victoria and Albert's, you get something out of that experience. Maybe the Japanese restaurant. The rest of the restaurants, you're probably going to leave a little disappointed. Again, because you're a high-end foodie. I am not. I hold no pretensions to that. I'm kind of a try everything person, but I do have my own taste that I tend to stick with. And the restaurants all pretty much have been great experiences. I've never gone away hungry eating at a restaurant at Disney. They do tend to give you a lot. You're paying a lot. I'd say arguably the nicest restaurants that I've been to at Disney was the Brown Derby there at Hollywood Studios and Le Cellier. to kind of gauge exactly where, like, on the scale of niceness of the sit-down restaurants I've eaten at. The rest of the others are more like Beaches and Cream, Sebastian's style, which again were good experiences. I enjoyed them. I do not recall having a bad meal at Disney World. I don't recall ever having a bad meal at Disney World, which maybe makes me lucky, even like quick service meals. And yeah, the food's great at Disney World if like that's your thing. Obviously, there are restaurants that I've not gone to. A whole bunch of the Disney Springs restaurants, the Gwendolyn Rogers Cake Shop or whatever it's called, took forever for it to open. I don't know what the deal with it was, why it took so long for it to get finished. I mean, if you're listening to this and you have any details on that, please mention it in the comments, because I'm honestly pretty curious why it took years. And this was after 2020, so it's not like it was wholly delayed by the pandemic. But why did it take so long for that restaurant to open at the boardwalk? I'm honestly genuinely curious. There's a bunch of restaurants, and I mean, if I go back, I would probably go to some of the places I've gone before, but I would try new places. And it's a good experience. Anyway, if you agree with some of the experiences, you have some stories you want to tell about great experiences or bad experiences, we'd like to hear that. Just talk about it in the comments. Let's talk about food at Disney World. And of course, I don't have any experience with the food at, say, any of the other resorts outside of Disney World, because I've never been to any of those parks. I'd certainly like to visit all of them and get a feel for their food. But yeah, that's Walt Disney World's food. We're gonna end it here, and thanks for listening. That's the episode. We're all wrapped up. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking about a movie next week, I'm sure. Kind of alternating between Disney movies discussion 1 week, and then some Disney World stuff maybe the next week. So yeah, please be sure to like this episode and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Obviously, likes and subscribes help get more people interested in what we do here, what we talk about, and the videos that we do. We like making them, and the more people are interested in what we do, the easier it is to make them and make them better. So, thanks for all the support. You all mean so much to us. And don't forget to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thegreatamyride. So yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and making the reluctant Disney adult so great. Talk to you next week.